I'm Lauren with Pack Hacker, and in this video we're taking a detailed look at the BIHN Bixi, which I've been testing for the last 2 weeks. Let's dive in. The exterior of this bag in particular is made with a 630D high tenacity ballistic nylon, bringing it up a little closer to the camera so you can get a nice close look at it. And then on the inside is a 200D Halcyon nylon ripstop material. And then we also have like blue sign materials across the board here. So it feels very durable, very well made, very classic BIHN fashion. Don't really expect anything less from them, honestly. At this point, they don't have a ton of colorway options in this one, but they add those on a lot over time. So there might be a few more options. I also think this color in particular is not available at this point. So, definitely check their site to see what they've got. The external features on this are pretty basic though. So we have the BIHN logo right up here in the center. We also have a loop down at the bottom if you want to attach like a bike light or just really any other gear that you want. Otherwise, this kind of stays out of the way. It's a decently sized loop though. So you've got some solid attachment point there. And then we also have a water bottle pocket on the side. This is very stretchy. I found that my small bottle, so this is a 21-ounce Hydro Flask, this feels very secure, but I was also able to fit, this is a 30-ounce Owala, and it's slimmer down at the bottom, which is definitely why it fits. Like if it were this width all the way down, it wouldn't really fit in here. But if you have a larger bottle that kind of tapers down, you can definitely get that in there. So everything that I put in here felt secure. I didn't feel like the small bottles were gonna fall out or the big bottles were like too hard to shove in or anything like that. Obviously it just, depending on what's packed into the main compartment, it might be a little bit harder to get it in there at first, but otherwise it's pretty simple. We also have YKK water resistant RC zippers across the board here. So it's got like a little bit of a chunky look to it. Duraflex and Nexus and Woojin buckles across the board as well. They also send little zipper pulls to be able to dampen the noise of these jingly jangly zippers, which is a very BIHN thing to have them very jingly jangly. And then we have lockable zippers as well. So you can lock either compartment with a TSA friendly lock if that's something that you want. Then there is the carry handles. So we've got the top carry handle here, which has padding that's pretty cushy, very similar to the harness system, which we'll talk about in a second, but they've got one on the top and then one on the side that doesn't have the water bottle pocket, and both of them were very comfortable to grab. Even like when this bag was heavy, it felt very comfortable to like carry it up and down a flight of stairs or pull in and out of kind of tight spaces. If you like BIHN harness systems, then this is going to both look very familiar and also feel very comfortable to you, because I've tested a lot of BIHN bags and this is pretty on par with it. The actual foam padding on the shoulder straps is very soft and very malleable. It's like a ½ inch thick, it's like edgeless, so when it's like rubbing, or I guess if it touches like the side of your neck, it doesn't rub up against the side of your neck, which I really like. I prefer my back panels to be a little bit more like cushy and flexible. This is not stiff at all. So when I put it on, you'll see it, but it definitely molds to the shape of your back a bit more. There's no like back panel or really anything in here to give it like too much structure. We do have a removable hip belt down here at the bottom if you want. I usually just tightened this completely and just left it, and I honestly didn't even like notice it against my back, but you can remove it. It detaches via gatekeeper clips here. And then for sternum strap to pull a little bit of weight off of your body or to redistribute the weight a little bit off your shoulders, there is a very easy clip here on the front, and this is on a rail system. So very simple and easy to adjust, or it's removable if you don't want to use it. There's also a little loop up at the top here, which you can use to hang the bag on like a hook if you're in a bathroom stall or something. This is very handy. I didn't feel it like bumping against my neck or anything when I was wearing the bag, so it wasn't like in the way. We also have a luggage pass through here, and you can put the bag, you can either put it like horizontally on a piece of luggage, or this back panel also fully opens that way, and you can put it vertically on a piece of luggage. So it kind of depends on what you prefer. But the back panel padding is actually pretty simple. It's nothing too crazy. There's like this mesh upper and then this lower back, which is like a pack cloth material. And it's like a closed cell foam in here as well, and you can sort of see the design of it. It's like thick in the center, and then it tapers off into like little, I don't know, little like circular or oval loops here, and that gives a little bit of padded comfort. It's not like overly substantial, but like I said, it's not a very stiff back panel, so it's a little bit, it molds to your back a little bit, gives you a little bit of airflow, but not too much, so on really hot days it could be a little less cool. When the bag is actually on, like I said, it feels very comfortable. It does feel like it's pulling back a little bit, so maybe it would have benefited from something like a load lifter, which isn't something you really see on Tom Bin bags, but maybe worth noting if that's something that bothers you. This hip belt too, it pulls, like it's a very simple design and it pulls a little bit of the weight off, but I honestly found it was very comfortable without. Like I said, this is more like so what I preferred. If I do take that off, it feels a little less like it's pulling me backward, but I do feel more of the weight on my shoulders, so it's kind of a trade-off. They do frame this as being like an EDC or travel bag. I personally think it looks too big to be an EDC bag. Maybe that's just my preference. Looks a little bit big on my body. I'm 5'6", I have a 16.5-inch torso, but it's not as like, the depth isn't too crazy, so maybe if you don't like load it up as much, or if you carry a lot every day, it could work as an EDC bag, just maybe not for me. If you're finding this video helpful, hit subscribe so we can keep making content to help you travel smarter. This is a 32-liter bag, so you do have a decent amount of storage space in here, and I'll show you kind of what I was able to pack in the main compartment. But looking at these secondary compartments, we've got two options. We've got this front compartment and the laptop compartment. With this front compartment, you can see it's got its own depth here, and if I open this up and show you the inside, I have this pouch right here, and then I also have a packable jacket. But if I take the pouch out, you can see that it takes away a lot of that depth. So like I mentioned, with it being an EDC bag or functioning similarly as an EDC bag, if you don't pack as much stuff in here, it can start to look slimmer, but in my opinion, it's still just kind of bulky for EDC. So it's kind of up to you, more of a preference thing, I guess. But you do have your own packable space down here, like I mentioned. So I had a tech pouch down there. This is a packable rain jacket. I've put a bulkier layer down there and had more than enough space. I've also put like a toiletry bag if the main compartment was too full. And then we also have a key leash hooked on the side here. You can move this around to whatever O-ring you want. There's there's two up top, and then there's two here as well. So you kind of have options. If you don't want to utilize them, they stay out of the way. We also have a couple of pockets to use here, pen slots, and then two little slip pockets. This first slip pocket is completely flat, so I stick something like a wallet in here because I'm able to, you know, it stays a little bit more secure and it fits it very nicely. This is also a good spot for a passport. On this side though, it is a pocket with its own depth, so you can see how much further it sticks out there. So I really recommend using either something or putting something in here that's larger. So like I put my phone in there as a slip that in there. Like something like this packable jacket actually fits in there and it has its own space. I didn't need to put it in there, but you could. You could also put tech in there or something like that. But this one, like I would recommend utilizing small pouches if you're gonna put small items in there. These have my AirPods in them, because if I just put my AirPods in here, they flap around so much in the pocket, they just don't feel secure. So kind of a little bit, like I preference-wise would have wanted this to be flat, but I understand why it's not. So it's not really that, like, it's not a deal breaker for the bag, just didn't love it for myself. We also have this back pocket here, which I put in here a tablet and a Kindle. This pocket goes, I'm gonna show you where, it goes all the way down to here. So this flat pocket, like it's not elevated, so I wouldn't put like my phone in here or like, I don't know, too much tech, because everything small would fall down to the bottom, which is something that happens in the main compartment too. So again, utilizing pouches I think is gonna be your friend here. But if you wanted to store something larger, like a tablet or something similar, it fits in there. For your larger device, like a laptop, that fits in the back compartment. So this is a 16-inch MacBook Pro. I have a 13-inch that I use daily, and that fit in here perfectly fine too. It is, there's a decent amount of padding, like here, between here and where, like the back of the back panel. So it didn't feel too much like my my laptop became the back panel. But on the inside here, there is like a mesh, this mesh sleeve has a little bit of cushion to it too. And then there's a decent amount of cushion on this panel. So it felt very protected in here. And then if we look at this compartment, this sleeve ends about here, so there's even a little bit of a false bottom. So whenever you set the bag down, you're not setting your device directly onto the ground, adds a little bit of protection. So two fairly larger pockets to choose between for small gear, but the admin pocket technically on the front has some smaller organization that does come in handy. The main compartment is also pretty simple. On the bottom, we have dual zippers. You can see where the zipper heads are here, but on the bottom we have a little tab that I use to give a little bit of extra grip when I'm zipping or unzipping the bag. And then you open it up and you can see the compartments here. I did not zip these up earlier, clearly. But on the inside, this is where, obviously it's just like one big bucket space. And then you have some small or like more, I guess, defined organization on this side. So looking at this main compartment space for a second, this area has two little tie-down straps. And I obviously did not use packing cubes on a recent trip. I had like a four-day trip out of town, so this is what I brought on that. I just have my toiletry bag, which technically could fit in one of these pockets or in that front and mid panel, but I had space for it here. And then in this area, I have a thick crew neck, so obviously if I didn't like have this in here, I could fit a little bit more. I also at one point had shoes in here in a shoe pouch, and then I have two pairs of pants, a pair of sleep shorts, a sleep shirt, and then I have 5 different tops, two tank top, 2 t-shirts, and 1 long sleeve. So over the course of this, like this was more than enough to get me through 4 days. I could take this on a week and just sort of capsule wardrobe it and be totally fine. So this 32-liter capacity does feel like 32 liters. So if you're familiar with other bags that are a similar capacity, this is going to be pretty on par with that. But I would say you could easily fit a week in here, but once you do a little bit more than that, it can start to feel tight if you need to do like multiple changes of clothes or something. This belt as well, I sort of just like looped down at the bottom, which is how I normally pack my belts. On the other side here, we have 2 mesh pockets for organization. So this bottom one is kind of what you see, what you get here. So it's only this tall and it goes all the way down to the bottom here and to either side. This pocket does have a little bit of its own depth. So it shares a little bit of the capacity with the front compartment, but by the time I packed everything out, I didn't really feel like this whole area was competing for space too much. I just kept this to being thinner items. So if you wanted to put like a toiletry bag in here to have it accessible and you didn't have to like worry about sticking it over on this side, you totally could. But for myself, I put usually like socks and underwear here. And then when I had used them and I wanted to like keep them in kind of more of like a laundry area, I actually put them in this top zippered pocket. So this top zippered pocket is the entire front panel. So it has a little bit of space up top and it goes all the way down to the bottom. It doesn't end here. So this is more of the space that would start to compete with that front admin panel. But again, I still felt like I had a decent amount of depth. What I didn't want to do is put anything in here that could slip down to the bottom, because whatever I put in here did slip down to the bottom. So I wanted to make sure that I wasn't like over bulking this or putting something in here like a toiletry bag that would fall all the way down and then be kind of hard to access, especially if I had to get past stuff on the top. So this was better for me to almost like forget this pocket existed until I needed it, which is why I put like used socks and underwear in there. With this pocket though, there are 2 O-rings. So there's an O-ring here and then an O-ring on this side. So if you wanted to, if you had a Tom Bin accessory that you can hook on either side, it would keep it from falling all the way down to the bottom. So you could technically attach like other pouches or something you want there too. So you have a little bit of modularity inside of these, there's also the 2 here. I wanted to show you where those were. So there's 4 total. There's a little bit of modularity, which is very on brand for Tom BIHN. I think if this is a really great bag if you just want to keep it simple. You don't want all of those like external pockets that often come with Tom BIHN bags, or you want something a little bit just more simple in general that you can sort of build with your own cubes and pouches. This is going to be a really great option. And you know, if you're used to packing in 30 to 35 liters for a weekend trip or a week trip, then this is going to feel pretty comfortable for you. So there you have it, the Tom BIHN Bixi. Thanks for keeping here at Pack Accurate, your guide to smarter travel, and we'll see you in the next one.